The rolling hills of Franklin, Tennessee, stretched out like a green patchwork under the sky in July of 2025. They were dotted with huge mansions and still managed to maintain their serene country charm. Carrie Underwood's home, which was situated in the center of this picture-perfect setting, was a 400-acre hideaway that she shared with her husband, Mike Fisher, and their two sons, Isaiah and Jacob. She had established her career on strong vocals and heartbreaking lyrics, but it was here, in the daily rhythm of family life, that she discovered what she termed a miracle every day. The legend of American Idol, who is now 42 years old, had built her career on these things. In an interview that took place not so long ago, Underwood explained why her house, which was located away from the spotlight in Nashville, was the place where she saw the remarkable in the everyday. The mansion that belonged to the Underwood Fisher family was more than just a house. It was a haven. The property was hidden away behind iron gates, and it featured a mansion that had been built to their specifications, a barn for their horses, and acres of forests that the lads could have fun exploring. For example, the mansion had exposed wooden beams, stone fireplaces, and floor-to-ceiling windows that framed vistas of the Tennessee countryside. The home itself was a blend of rustic elegance and modern comfort. Carrie, who had always been a country girl coming from Chillicothe, Oklahoma, had created the room to give the impression that it was an extension of her roots. She had included a huge garden in which she produced vegetables and a chicken coop that provided her with fresh eggs. "This place grounds us," she had continued, her Oklahoma drawl remaining muted but steady throughout the conversation. The phrase, "it's where we're real." It was not the huge gestures or heavenly interventions that Carrie referred to as miracles. Rather, it was the ephemeral moments that filled her days that she considered to be miraculous. The morning started early, and Isaiah, who was 10 years old at the time, would frequently rush into the kitchen, his hair still tangled from sleep, and asked to assist in the preparation of pancakes. Jacob, who was 6 years old at the time, was the wild card. He would either follow his brother or sneak off to the backyard to pursue Ace, the golden retriever that belonged to the family. These mornings, according to Carrie, are characterized as holy mayhem. Watching them laugh, argue over who gets the bigger pancake, or just sit there with syrup on their faces, it's like God saying, "Here's your miracle, right now," she said in an interview with a local Tennessee magazine. The kitchen was the home's beating heart, and it was there that Carrie's passion for cooking was brought to life. She was a foodie from the beginning, but becoming a mother had transformed her into a master of comfort cuisine that had a healthy twist at the same time. Since Mike had retired from the National Hockey League, he had been experimenting with plant-based meals, and she had recently developed a vegan chili for him. Her boys were a huge fan of her baked biscuits, which were a recipe that had been passed down from her grandmother. Isaiah inquired about the reason she sang when she was cooking on a recent morning. She was in the process of chopping bell peppers from her garden. Her laughter was interrupted by a sample of Jesus, "Take the Wheel," and she responded by saying, "Because it makes everything better." That particular moment, which included her son's inquisitive eyes, the knife hesitating in the middle of the chop, and the song that filled the room, was yet another miracle that was woven into the fabric of the day. The faith of the family was an important component of their home life, and it was another source of miracles that Carrie encountered on a regular basis. Mike referred to the time they spent together in the living room as family time with a capital F. This would take place after dinner. Sometimes it was Mike strumming a guitar while Carrie harmonized on a hymn, and other times it was reading a Bible tale to the boys. Sometimes it was both. Jacob, using the sincere logic of a 6-year-old boy, inquired about Jesus' preference for country music one evening. While Carrie's laughing could be heard across the room, she responded with a serious tone, saying, "I bet he loves anything that comes from the heart." The conversation, which was uncomplicated but meaningful, was the kind of moment that she treasured. It was a source of inspiration for her son's growing faith and a reminder of her own. There was a proliferation of miracles in the natural environment. A playground for adventure. The family's 400 acres of land was a playground. Carrie and Mike had constructed a treehouse for the boys, complete with a rope ladder and a slide. Isaiah and Jacob would spend activities such as racing them around the field or instructing them on how to skip rocks in the stream. The first fish that Isaiah ever caught was a small bass, which he proudly displayed for a photograph. This happened one afternoon as the sun was setting and painting the sky pink. That look on his face, like he'd conquered the world. Carrie asked, "Is that truly the case? I will never forget the miracle that you performed." There was a continual presence of animals which contributed to the charm. Sunset rides were a beloved activity for the family's horses, which were given the names Dolly and Cash in honor of Carrie's favorite musicians. Carrie, who had grown up riding, was instructing Isaiah in the fundamentals of riding, and Jacob, who was too little to participate but eager to see, was cheering from the fence watching. Jacob had become obsessed with the chickens, which were a peculiar addition to the animal kingdom. He had given each bird a name. Clucky, Nugget, and Feathers were his favorites, and he insisted on collecting their eggs on a daily basis. The sound of Carrie's laughing could be heard throughout the entire property when one of the hens, Henrietta, managed to flee and lead the family on a pursuit around the garden. She posted a hazy snapshot of Jacob in the middle of a pursuit on her Instagram account, saying, "These are the stories we'll tell forever." Even in the more subdued moments, there was a captivating allure. As a fitness enthusiast, Carrie maintained a home gym where she would sneak in exercises in between her responsibilities as a mother. Sometimes Mike would join her, turning deadlifts into a playful rivalry, or Isaiah would stroll in, imitating her push-ups with exaggerated groans. Both of these activities were beneficial to her. All of these glimpses of togetherness, of her family developing and thriving, were what Carrie referred to as the little miracles that add up to a big life. There was nothing that could compare to the experience of witnessing Jacob learn how to tie his shoes or Isaiah write his first song on a beat-up guitar. She had witnessed celebrity, venues that were completely sold out, and Grammy Awards. The ethos of the couple's home was also shaped by their dedication to giving back to the community. The KATS Foundation, which Carrie and Mike founded, was responsible for providing financial support to various youth programs in the community. At one point, Isaiah gave his allowance to a neighborhood food drive, which demonstrated that the boys were beginning to comprehend the need of assisting those who were less fortunate. "That is a miracle that keeps growing." Carrie added, "That is having the opportunity to witness them learn kindness." Fan posts on her website reflected her perspective, congratulating her for being able to raise children who are grounded despite the fact that she is a famous. Carrie would frequently take a glass of iced tea with her and step out onto the porch of the Franklin estate as the sun began to set. She would then turn around and watch the stars appear. There is a possibility that Mike will join her, their hands clasped together, or the boys will ask for one more story before going to bed. Because of these moments, which were chaotic, happy, and fleeting, she witnessed miracles on a daily basis. She had stated, "This home is where we are building more than memories," and she had been right. It is the place where we are taking shape. Carrie Underwood discovered her miracles in the joy, love, and life that filled her days in that Tennessee hideaway, which was surrounded by a sky that was full of promise.